Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the next generation of gaming. To all you who are enjoying your new Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5s, congratulations on scoring one, and here's to a new and exciting era of gaming. I've been having a blast raiding across Norway in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and gameplay for that will be available in a handful of spoiler-free episodes in the coming weeks. I won't be doing a breakdown on Valhalla because, let's face it, if you don't know how to feel about Assassin's Creed after 13 years, 11 main games, and a handful of spin-offs, nothing I say will make you think any differently about it. That being said, the first new game-side breakdown of this generation is about Godfall, a looter-slasher developed by Counterplay Games and published by Gearbox. Our story begins with Orin telling us about the betrayal he suffered at the hands of his brother, Macros. The forces of the two battled on until it was finally time for them to settle things one-on-one. Macros got the upper hand and cast Orin down to his doom, or so we thought. Now, Orin and his allies are on a mission to take back the monolith from Macros and prevent him from achieving true godhood, slaying any creatures, demons, or deities that stand between you and your goal. Godfall's gold-crusted environments really drive home the fact that this is a land of magic and divinity. Nothing looks like it was made or touched by the common man, from the ornate halls of the Sunforged temples to the lush foliage of the Crimson Glades, down to the still easily breakable pottery. Missions are scattered across different realms, Earth being the first one you'll visit. Mission types are noted on the bottom left of the selection screen so you know just how much trouble you'll be getting into. Story missions are exactly how they sound, missions pertinent to story progression. Hunt missions set you up to track down and kill a specific mini-boss, and normally have a time limit alongside bonus objectives. Boss missions are big fights that immediately put you up against a boss. And unique missions are basically all about exploration. You drop into a previously cleared region and explore for treasure, materials, or lore entries. Before entering a mission, you can invite friends for some co-op action and select the difficulty you'd like for the mission. I have yet to play co-op since there's currently no matchmaking in the game, so I don't know if the number or toughness of enemies scale to match the extra players. Once your fancy armored boots hit the ground, you can follow main mission objectives with ease thanks to the waypoints, but the real treasure is off the beaten path, as always. Don't be afraid to explore anywhere you think you may find some treasure, it always pays off. Once the main mission you have is complete, you can either go back to the main hub, or continue to explore the region you're currently in. Activating Twilight beacons found in regions can activate additional objectives to be completed, further increasing the amount of gear and experience you will receive for all your hard work. You can also use Spirit Vision to locate points of interest and important crafting materials. Crafting materials can be used to create Valor Plates or upgrade your gear, so be sure to thoroughly check out every nook and cranny of every region and stock up. Most treasure chests you find in your travels will contain gear. Your Valor Plate has a primary weapon slot, a secondary weapon slot, an amulet slot, a charm slot, 2 ring slots, a lifestone slot, and a banner slot. Aside from the weapons, your other usable piece of gear is the banner, which can be used to drop an AoE stat boost that can bolster you or any allies standing within it. Gear drops as one of 5 rarities, and more often than not, the higher the rarity means the more useful the gear is. The name of the game in Godfall is loot, so you'll spend a good bit of time finding, salvaging, and equipping gear to make the best loadouts possible for your Valor Plates. There are 12 Valor Plates to craft and collect: Hinterclaw, Illumina, Aegis Horn, Vertigo, Mesa, Silvermane, Armistice, Typhon, Greyhawk, Phoenix, Bulwark, and Mobius. Each Valor Plate has a passive skill and its own unique effect on Archon's Fury, your ultimate combat ability. Each Valor Plate can be crafted using a Valor Plate core found on fallen Valor Plates, and a realm-specific or exceedingly rare special resource. For example, Greyhawk requires infused jasper in order to be crafted, and that can only be found on Earth. So once you have that, along with a handful of cores, Greyhawk can be crafted and added to your collection. It's that easy. Before we get into combat, I should probably go over the Godsmith. Very early in the game, you'll be tasked with rescuing a prisoner in the Crimson Glades. That prisoner is Xenon Earthminder, the Godsmith, basically a blacksmith, but with fancier clothes and no face. Bring him materials and he can upgrade or enchant your weapons, augments, and other gear. A piece of gear can be upgraded up to a maximum of 5 times, each upgrade increasing in material cost but also increasing attack power and passive stat bonuses of that gear. If you've grown attached to a particular weapon or piece of gear that isn't already legendary, you can enchant it to increase its rarity and greatly improve its power. Now that you know where to find gear and how to upgrade it, next comes how to use it. Your best friend in combat is your weapon. There are currently 5 weapons you can use to deliver divine retribution upon your foes. The longsword, An all-rounder, is perfect for just about any enemy. The Great Sword, of course, deals great damage in wide horizontal swings that hit multiple enemies, and also has powerful vertical strikes. Pole arms provide the reach and damage of a heavier weapon, but with the speed and accuracy of a longsword. Warhammers deliver crushing, staggering overhead swings with blows that knock enemies back, but your attacks will require quite a bit of wind-up time. Lastly, dual blades, best for a flurry of lightning-fast, close-quarters attacks on a single target. It's possible some ranged options might be added in the future, like a bow or a rifle, but as of now you can just use the shield to parry any incoming projectiles. The shield is not a weapon per se, but it's a permanently equipped item that can be used to parry enemy attacks, opening them up for counters, or you can hurl it at enemies and open them up for takedowns. It's a lot of fun. Backing you up in combat, there are 25 skills to unlock, and each skill can be leveled up 5 times, granting you additional actions as well as typical damage or status percentage increases. The skills are displayed in a grid pattern, and you can start unlocking skills from any of the 4 corners of the grid. Finesse, which affects dodging and weak point hits, Shield Throw, which increases the power of your shield attacks, Weapon Techniques, which unlock weapon techniques, and Polarity Attacks, which allow your weapons to build up charge every time you attack, or even siphon health from enemies. Skill points are gained every level, and your skills can be reset or reallocated at any point in time. Augments are special abilities that activate when you perform certain actions in combat. Starting at level 10, you gain 1 augment slot every 5 levels. Each augment slot has an affinity that's going to be Vitality, Might, Spirit, or Universal, and each augment will have an affinity as well, so be sure to match them up for best results. Augments, as well as any other gear, don't automatically carry over when you switch between Valor plates. Luckily, there's a Copy Current Loadout button that makes the process of reequipping much easier. The flow of combat in Godfall is ridiculously smooth. Between your weapon combos, techniques, shield throws, and skills, you're a whirlwind of damage and status effects tearing through hordes of enemies in gold gilded style, even if some of the boss takedowns are a bit underwhelming. With basic understanding of parrying and dodging, it's easy to beat any enemy, even if they're over your level. I'm normally much better at dodging than I am at parrying in games where both mechanics are present, but in Godfall I can parry attacks with the greatest of ease. Go figure. A word of warning, it's very easy to lose yourself while jumping from enemy to enemy dishing out damage. Keep an eye on your health because it can be reduced to nothing before you know it. With a little more work, this game could be truly special. It has a lot going for it, but the looting and upgrading mechanics are a little bare bones, and the ultimate attack you can use barely differs between the Valor plates, making them all essentially different cosmetic skins for the same character, and not individually special. Taking the good and bad points of Godfall into account, I'm definitely excited to see where this game goes with future content updates. I've put in just over 12 hours so far and made it a good ways into the story even with all the exploration I've been doing. Still, this game would definitely be much shorter if there was no incentive to do side objectives and explore old mission areas. I've heard some promising things about Godfall's endgame, but I'm probably another 10 plus hours away from that, so I won't know if it'll warrant a separate video until I get to it. Anyway, you can pick up Godfall on PC for $60 from the Epic Game Store, or in around 6 months you can get it on Steam. If you head to Green Man Gaming using the link in the video description, you'll save yourself about 14% on the sale price. Godfall is also available on PlayStation 5 for the next-gen price of $70. Seeing as there's a pretty standard amount of content in the game as of right now, it might behoove you to wait for a sale before picking it up. If you'd like to see some single-player gameplay without my voice all over it, I have a video linked in the description. Once I get a definitive chunk of co-op gameplay, that too will be linked down below, so keep an eye out. As always, subscribe to see more, and drop a like if you enjoyed the video. This has been Cygnus Jason, and I will catch you all on the game side. Later.